18 seconds of countdown. Combat over the Red Sea. 18 seconds. That's how much time the crew of an MH-60R helicopter, better known as the Seahawk, had to save a warship worth not $1, but $1.5 billion. Yemen, morning, 28 miles off the coast. The Seahawk, callsign Romeo, was conducting a routine patrol. Visibility was poor, the sun reflecting off the water, the radar silent, nothing unusual, just another day. But the sector was dangerous. Houthi forces had repeatedly attacked both civilian vessels and U.S. Navy ships here using drones, missiles, even explosive-laden boats. The Romeo's crew had no idea they were just moments away from making history. It had become the first time a U.S. Navy helicopter would shoot down an aerial threat using machine gun fire, and this is how it happened. The countdown had begun. 15 minutes into the patrol, still nothing unusual, then an alert tone. The AN/APS-153 radar picked up a new contact. The tactical operator tensed up immediately. New contact, bearing 045, he reported sharply, fingers moving quickly across the control panel. The radar profile was small. Altitude 2,200 feet. Speed too low for a fighter jet, too small a radar signature for a helicopter. Suspicious, Romeo instantly turned toward the contact. The FLIR system AN/AAS-44 infrared optics mounted in a nose turret switched on. It could detect objects through fog and smoke, sensing temperature differences as small as 0.08 degrees Celsius at up to 14 nautical miles, about 16 regular miles or 25 kilometers. These sensors began searching for a heat signature, but the system couldn't lock on. The morning sun had already warmed the air, making it nearly impossible to distinguish anything. A spark in a wildfire. The crew stared at the screens in silence, only the sound of the rotor and a faint hiss from the headsets. The pilot adjusted altitude to give the sensors a better angle. There, a faint thermal trace, just a ghostly glow above the horizon. Vampire, vampire, vampire! The urgent call went out over the radio, Navy code for an inbound aerial threat, likely a drone. Romeo moved into position between the unknown object and the USS Gravely. The operator kept tracking. The heat signature was unstable, flickering in and out. FLIR struggled to maintain a lock, not enough for weapons clearance. They needed a confirmed visual and thermal ID. But one thing was now certain. This wasn't interference. Not a bird, not a civilian aircraft. This was a threat, and it was heading straight for the ship. Time was running out. The destroyer was just a few miles away. The contact was closing in fast at 270 miles per hour. Its heading was directly toward the Gravely. The operator switched the radar from surface mode to air-to-air mode to track drones, missiles, and aircraft. Immediately, the sea clutter vanished. The contact lit up clearly on the screen. As if it realized it was being watched, the object began twitching, making evasive micro-movements, classic behavior of an autonomous strike drone. Romeo dropped lower for a better visual angle. The IFF system identified friend or foe, gave a soft ping. Silence followed, no response. No signal from a civilian or military transponder, nothing. 3 miles to the ship. Then, finally, visual confirmation. A distinct silhouette appeared in the optics, a slender fuselage, a teardrop-shaped nose cone, wings swept back. There was no mistaking it. Samad 3, a Houthi drone of Iranian origin. It had already been used in multiple attacks on ships and infrastructure. Its intent now was crystal clear, to strike the USS Gravely, part of the carrier strike group led by the USS Harry S. Truman. Romeo calls in for clearance. Gravely, this is Romeo. Hostile target confirmed. Drone. Samad 3 profile. Requesting permission to open fire. Permission granted, comes the immediate response. The destroyer is now less than a mile and a half away. Just 18 seconds of flight time for the Houthi drone carrying 66 pounds of high explosives. An invisible countdown has begun. 18 seconds. 17. Romeo enters a combat turn, banking hard left. The air vibrates under the roar of the rotors. The helicopter stabilizes, positioning itself between the incoming threat and the destroyer. 16. 15. 14. The door gunner presses against the fuselage, gripping the handles of the GAU-21 machine gun. His knuckles turn white, but his hands are steady. Through the optical sight, he now sees the target, not a radar blip, but a real object, closing in with clear hostile intent. 13, 12, 11. The pilot holds the Seahawk steady, fighting crosswinds. The gunner takes a deep breath. The drone is half a mile away, the maximum effective range of the GAU-21. There's no time to close the gap. This is the only shot. 10, 9. The GAU-21 opens fire. Tracer rounds streak forward, drawing bright orange lines across the sky. The first burst misses. 8, 7. Left, the operator shouts instantly, watching the impact trajectory. The pilot nudges the helicopter forward, closing distance. The airframe shakes, but holds course. 6, 5, 4. The second burst. A spray of 40-gram 50 caliber rounds tears through the sky at 3,000 feet per second, 890 meters per second, chewing up the half-mile gap and slamming into the drone's fuselage and left wing. Direct hit. The rounds punch through the drone's body and wing. It jerks violently, destabilized. Smoke pours from the airframe. The left wing shears off and the drone begins tumbling out of control. 3, 2. The invisible timer stops. Romeo doesn't take chances. A third burst rips through what's left of the drone. The Samad 3 breaks apart in midair. Target destroyed, the pilot reports calmly. But even before the words fully leave his mouth, new contacts appear on the radar screen. Faint, but unsettling. The helicopter's onboard AN/ALQ-210 electronic warfare suite silently listens to the radio spectrum without revealing its own position. It detects a signal in the S-band, likely a drone control uplink. No visible contact yet, but the suspicion is real. Another threat is inbound. More drones? The gunner checks his ammo. Still enough left. But how many more? The answer comes within a second. None. The cockpit's filled with a shrill warning siren. Incoming missile alert. This isn't a drone. It's a missile. The threat system logs the launch bearing left, distance just a few kilometers. The missile's origin appears to be a man-portable air defense system on shore. Closing speed, Mach 2.2. That's 2,500 feet per second. Time to impact under 8 seconds. The pilot reacts instantly. A sharp turn to the right. The Seahawk drops altitude fast, forcing the missile to adjust its targeting angle. Inertia slams the crew into their seats. The airframe rattles under the strain. The co-pilot slams a button on the panel. The AL-47 countermeasure system responds instantly. Flares burst from the sides of the helicopter. 6, 7, 8 blinding fireballs trail behind. Each burns at over 2,000 degrees Celsius, dozens of times hotter than the helicopter's exhaust. And the missile, traveling at twice the speed of sound, is closing in. One more moment and the Houthi missile sharply veers off course, locking onto one of the flares. A flash of light, an explosion. The shock wave jolts the helicopter. The flare is gone, but the Seahawk is still flying. But the Houthis weren't finished. The radar picked up a small surface contact near the suspected launch point, most likely a boat used as a mobile launch platform. The data was immediately relayed to the USS Gravely, while Romeo increased its distance, staying within visual range, but now beyond the reach of shoulder-fired missiles. This time, American firepower prevailed. Victory? Yes. But it leaves behind a bitter aftertaste, because it's crystal clear that tomorrow, or even within the next hour, the Houthis could strike again. Not with a single drone, but with several. Or with missiles, or both at the same time. That's why the real threat isn't the drone. It's not even the missile. The real threat is the strategy itself. A war of attrition. The Houthis are using cheap weapons, improvised drones, explosive boats, man-portable rockets. Lined up against them are billions of dollars worth of warships, helicopters, air defense systems, and satellites. A single Samad 3 drone costs just a few $1,000s. Shooting it down can cost hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions. Every bullet, every missile isn't just steel, it's a bill, and that bill keeps climbing. The Houthis know they can be destroyed, but for every downed drone, another will take its place. Iran will supply the weapons, and for every fighter killed, 10 more are ready to take up arms. President Trump, it seems, understood the futility of a war without territorial control. The U.S. was spending resources, losing soldiers, intercepting drones and launchers, but strategically nothing changed. So Trump made the only logical move. He signed a peace agreement with the Houthis. Bitter, controversial, but rational. America cannot afford to fight forever, even against an enemy that is, by all metrics, vastly weaker, because there's still an unresolved war in Ukraine and the rising undeniable possibility of a conflict with China. So yes, today Romeo won, but this wasn't the end. It was just a moment. A moment in a war where victory isn't about triumph, It's about walking away with your head held high. What do you think? Was President Trump right to make peace with the Houthis? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching. We'd appreciate a like and your subscription to the channel. See you again soon.